I was abandoned by my family at a gas station. Days later, they saw me on the news. Let me back up. Let me tell you how a father ends up alone on a cold highway shoulder at 52 years old, watching his own kids drive away like he's garbage they finally got around to throwing out. It started as a family road trip. My son Derek called me 3 weeks earlier, voice bright with false enthusiasm. "Dad, we should all take a trip together. You know, before winter really hits. Just the family." I should have known better. Derek never called unless he wanted something. Neither did my daughter Ashley. But I'm an idiot, so I said yes. My wife Linda didn't come. She claimed she had a work thing, but I saw the look in her eyes when I told her about the trip. She knew. She always knew things about our kids that I refused to see. So it was me, Derek, Ashley, and Ashley's husband Kyle in Derek's SUV, heading toward some cabin in the Colorado foothills that Derek swore would be perfect for reconnecting. Kyle spent most of the drive on his phone, typing furiously with his thumbs. "Real estate deals," he said, always working the angles. Ashley sat in back with me, scrolling through her phone, occasionally showing me photos she was planning to post. She had 70,000 followers on Instagram. I didn't understand it. Pictures of her coffee, pictures of her feet on a beach, pictures of her face from slightly different angles. People ate it up. "Dad, you're not listening," she said, poking my arm. "I'm listening. I asked if you'd thought about what we talked about last month." Last month, right. The conversation where they'd cornered me in my own kitchen and suggested I should think about downsizing. The house Linda and I bought 30 years ago was too much space for 2 people. They had ideas about what I could do with the equity. Helpful ideas. Ideas that mostly involved me giving them money. "I'm still thinking," I said. "Well, think faster." She went back to her phone. We stopped at a gas station around 8 p.m. One of those lonely places where highways intersect with nothing, where the fluorescent lights make everyone look sick and the bathrooms smell like crime scenes. Pump 17. I remember because the numbers were half peeled off, just a 1 and part of a 7. "I'm getting coffee," I said, climbing out. My back hurt from 4 hours in the cramped back seat. My knees popped when I stood. "Get me one too," Ashley said without looking up. "Me too," Kyle added, light and sweet. Derek said nothing. He was texting. I went inside. The coffee was the kind that's been sitting since morning, thick as motor oil. I poured 3 cups anyway, paid the clerk who looked like he wanted to die, and headed back outside. The SUV was gone. I stood there holding 3 coffee cups, steam rising into the cold air, staring at the empty space where Derek's vehicle had been. For a solid 10 seconds, my brain refused to process what I was seeing. They'd just pulled around to a different pump. They were getting air in the tires. There was a logical explanation. Then my phone buzzed. A text from Derek. "Figure out your own way home." Another buzz. "Ashley, we're done carrying you." Kyle, because apparently everyone needed to get their shot in. "You had your chance to help us. Now you're on your own." I called Derek, straight to voicemail. "Ashley, voicemail." I tried texting back. The messages turned green. They'd blocked me. I sat down on the curb next to pump 17, still holding the coffee cups. A truck driver getting diesel looked at me with something between pity and amusement. I must have looked insane. A middle-aged man in a flannel jacket, sitting alone with 3 cups of coffee, staring at nothing. The rational part of my brain started working through the logistics. I was 4 hours from home. My wallet had $60 in cash and a credit card. There were no Ubers out here, no taxis. The clerk inside had already locked the doors. The station closed at 9. My phone was at 30% battery. No charger. I'd left it in the SUV. I pulled up Linda's number. My thumb hovered over the call button. Then I imagined her voice, that careful tone she used when she didn't want to say, "I told you so," but absolutely meant it. I couldn't do it. Not yet. Instead, I started walking. There was a town about 12 miles east, according to the sign. 12 miles wasn't impossible. I'd done manual labor my whole life, worked as a mechanic, built half my house with my own hands. I could walk 12 miles. The first 3 weren't bad. The cold kept me alert. The stars were out, bright without city lights to drown them. I made jokes to myself to stay calm, the kind of dark humor that's kept me sane through every other disaster in my life. Well, at least it's not raining. Could be raining, could be bears, could be raining bears. By mile 6, my feet hurt. I hadn't worn my good boots. These were just regular sneakers, worn thin at the heels. Blisters formed, then burst, then reformed. Every step felt like walking on broken glass. By mile 8, the jokes stopped working. A car passed. I waved. They sped up. Another car. I tried flagging them down. At mile 10, I started to understand that I might not make it. My legs were cramping. My back screamed. The cold had worked its way through my jacket into my bones. The darkness was total except for the occasional headlight sweep. I thought about Derek as a kid, learning to ride a bike. I'd held the back of his seat, running alongside him until he got his balance. When he finally rode on his own, he'd looked back at me with this huge grin. Pure joy. I thought about Ashley at her high school graduation, hugging me so hard I could barely breathe, whispering, "Thank you for everything, Dad." Where did those kids go? When did they become these strangers who'd leave me on a highway like trash? Headlights appeared behind me, moving fast. I heard the engine roar. For a second, I thought about just stepping into the road, just ending it, clean and simple. Instead, I stumbled. My legs gave out right as the truck passed. The truck's brake lights flared red. It stopped. Footsteps. A voice. "Jesus Christ, buddy, you okay?" I tried to answer. Nothing came out. "I'm calling 911. Stay still." Everything went dark. When I woke up, there was a microphone in my face. The hospital room was too bright. Everything was white and sterile and loud. Machines beeped. Someone down the hall was moaning. A nurse came in every 20 minutes to check my vitals and ask me questions I was too exhausted to answer properly. "Sir, do you know where you are?" "Hospital. Do you know what day it is?" "Tuesday, maybe Wednesday." "Do you have family we can contact?" I laughed. It hurt my ribs. "No." The trucker who'd found me was named Bill. He sat with me for an hour, refusing to leave until he was sure I'd be okay. He was maybe 60, weathered face, kind eyes, the kind of guy who still believed in helping people. "You walked 10 miles, he said, shaking his head. "In the dark. You're either brave or stupid." "Definitely stupid." "Your kids really just left you there?" I'd told the EMTs the truth when they asked why I was out there, abandoned by family on a road trip. They'd looked at me like I was making it up, like it was too absurd to be real. "Yeah," I said. "They really did." Bill squeezed my shoulder. "I'm sorry, man. That's not right." After he left, I lay there staring at the ceiling. The doctors said I was dehydrated, hypothermic, covered in blisters, nothing permanent. I'd be fine in a few days. Fine. Sure. A different kind of visitor showed up around noon. Young woman, maybe 30, dressed sharp. She had a notebook and a small camera. "Mr. Patterson, I'm Jennifer Solis. I'm with Channel 7 News. One of the nurses mentioned your situation. I was wondering if you'd be willing to talk about what happened." "Why would anyone care?" "Because it's a human interest story. Family abandonment on the rise, holiday travel stress, that kind of angle. And honestly," she lowered her voice, "because it's a good story. People respond to that." "Is there a difference?" I thought about it. "Not really." She set up the camera, asked me to tell her what happened. I gave her the basic version, keeping my voice flat, trying not to sound pathetic. She asked good questions. How long had the relationship been strained? Had there been warning signs? What was I feeling now? Tired, I said. Mostly just tired. Will you press charges? For what? Being an asshole isn't illegal. She smiled slightly. You'd be surprised how many people wish it was. The interview took maybe 20 minutes. She thanked me, packed up her equipment, and left. I figured that was the end of it. Small local story, might run once, then disappear. I was wrong. The segment aired that evening. Linda called me immediately. Thomas, what the hell did you just do? I talked to a reporter. About our kids, on television. About what they did to me. Everyone's calling me. Everyone's asking questions. Derek's boss saw it. Ashley's friends saw it. Do you have any idea what you've done? Told the truth? You made them look like monsters. Linda. They left me at a gas station, in the dark, in the cold. I had to walk 10 miles. I collapsed on the side of the highway. How exactly should I make that look? She was quiet for a long moment. They're saying you're lying. They're saying it was a misunderstanding. Of course they are. Ashley posted on Instagram. Good. Thomas, no. You know what? Good. I'm glad she's uncomfortable. I'm glad people are asking questions. Maybe for once in their lives they'll face actual consequences. Linda sighed. I need to come see you. Don't bother, I'll be home tomorrow. She came anyway, showed up around 8 p.m. with a duffel bag of my clothes and a look on her face I couldn't quite read. She sat in the chair next to my bed, hands folded in her lap. The story's going viral, she said quietly. What? Online. People are sharing it everywhere. Twitter, Facebook, TikTok. There are hashtags. Chuck's Pump 17. Justice for Thomas. It's everywhere. That's insane. That's the internet. She pulled out her phone, showed me. Thousands of comments, millions of views. People calling Derek and Ashley every name I'd ever heard and several I hadn't. People sharing their own stories of family betrayal. People demanding justice, revenge, consequences. One comment stood out. This is exactly what's wrong with this generation. No respect, no loyalty, just entitlement. Another, those kids should be ashamed, hope they lose everything. Jennifer called me, Linda said. The reporter. She wants to do a follow-up. She says there's more to this story. She asked if I knew about any planning, any conspiracy. What did you tell her? Nothing. Yet. Linda looked at me directly. But Thomas, I do know things. I've known for months. My chest tightened. Known what? That they were planning this. Not the gas station specifically, but pushing you out, getting rid of you. They've been talking about it for almost a year. The machines beeped louder in the silence. You knew. I knew. And you didn't tell me. I tried to tell you. You didn't want to hear it. Every time I brought up concerns about Derek or Ashley, you defended them. They're just stressed. They're just busy. They're just figuring things out. You refused to see what they'd become. She was right. I had refused. Because seeing it would mean admitting I'd failed. That somewhere along the line, I'd raised two people who could look at their father and see nothing but an obstacle. There's more, Linda said. Jennifer showed me something before she left the hospital earlier. She pulled out her phone again, opened a video file. Security footage from the gas station. Grainy, black and white, but clear enough. It showed Derek's SUV pulling away from Pump 17. Showed me walking into the convenience store. Showed Derek turning to Ashley and Kyle in the back seat. Even without audio, you could see them laughing. Kyle gave Derek a high five. Ashley pulled out her phone, probably sending those texts. They were celebrating. I watched it 3 times. Each time, something inside me shifted. The sadness turned to something harder, colder. They planned it, I said. Yes. This whole trip, the cabin, all of it. Just to dump me somewhere remote and laugh about it. Yes. And you have proof. Jennifer has it. She's planning to air it tomorrow night. She wanted to tell you first. I lay back against the pillows. My entire body hurt, but not from the walk. This was deeper. This was the kind of pain that settles in your bones and stays there. When I get out of here, I said slowly, I'm going to make them regret this. Thomas, not violence, not illegal, but Linda, I'm done protecting them. I'm done being the good father who takes the hits and smiles. They want to treat me like garbage? Fine. They can deal with the consequences. Linda smiled. It wasn't a happy smile. It was something fierce. Good, because I'm going to help you. The next 2 weeks were quiet. I meant what I said to Linda. I stopped engaging. No more interviews, no more public statements. I blocked most social media apps from my phone and stopped reading news about my own situation. The world kept spinning without my input. Derek's trial date was set for March. Kyle was separately charged with conspiracy to commit fraud. Ashley continued her downward spiral online, each post more desperate than the last, each attempt to rehabilitate her image, making things worse. I focused on work. Greg had been covering for me at the shop, but I needed to get back to normal. Normal meant oil changes and brake repairs and talking about sports instead of family drama. Normal meant using my hands instead of my anger. The guys at the shop didn't ask questions. They knew the basic story, everyone did, but they respected my silence. Greg would occasionally update me on things I needed to know. Someone had tried to vandalize my truck. He'd scared them off. A reporter had come by asking questions. He'd told them to leave. Someone had started a GoFundMe for my legal fees. It was up to $40,000. You don't need to pay me back, I told him about the last one. It's not for me. It's for you. People want to help. I don't need help. Everyone needs help, Tommy. He was right. I accepted the money, sent thank you messages to the organizers, and tried to feel grateful instead of ashamed. Linda started seeing a therapist. For us, she said, because this affected both of us, and I want to make sure we come through it intact. Do I need to go too? Only if you want to. I didn't want to, but I went anyway. Dr. Sarah Chen, no wait, can't use Chen. Sarah Morrison was in her 40s, calm, professionally sympathetic. She listened to my story without judgment, asked careful questions, made no promises about healing or closure. What do you want out of this? She asked during our second session. I want to stop thinking about it. Every morning I wake up and the first thought in my head is that my kids betrayed me. Every night, it's the last thought before I sleep. I want it to stop. Have you considered that it might never completely stop? That's not reassuring. I'm not here to reassure you. I'm here to help you cope. And coping means accepting that some wounds don't fully heal. They scar over, they hurt less, but they're always there. So I'm stuck with this forever. You're stuck with the knowledge of what happened, but you're not stuck with the pain, not if you work through it. How? By accepting things you can't change, by focusing on things you can control, by building a life that has meaning beyond this trauma. I tried. Some days were better than others. I'd go whole hours without thinking about Derek or Ashley. Then something would trigger the memory. A family eating together at a restaurant, a father playing with his kids at the park, and I'd be right back in it, drowning in anger and grief. Linda was patient. She'd sit with me through the bad moments, talk me down from the spiral, remind me that I was more than this one terrible thing that had happened. You're still a good person, she'd say. Am I? Good people don't destroy their own children. Good people protect themselves from people who want to hurt them, even if those people are family. March came cold and gray. Derek's trial started on a Tuesday. I didn't attend. Robert advised against it. My presence might prejudice the jury, make it seem like I was personally invested in vengeance. Better to stay away and let the evidence speak for itself. The evidence was damning. The audio recording, text messages between Derek and Kyle planning the power of attorney scheme, Financial records showing they'd already started liquidating assets they'd expected to control. Witness testimony from people they'd told about the plan. The prosecution painted them as calculating predators who'd seen their father as nothing but a source of money. The defense argued they'd been desperate, confused, manipulated by Kyle into something they didn't fully understand. The jury deliberated for 6 hours. Guilty on all counts. Derek was sentenced to 3 years in prison. Kyle got 5. I heard the news from Robert. Linda was with me when he called. 3 years, I said, after hanging up. Is that good? I don't know. He'll be out in 18 months with good behavior. Is that enough? Is that justice? I don't know either. We sat with that uncertainty. The thing I'd wanted, consequences, punishment, justice, had happened. But it didn't feel like victory. It just felt sad. Ashley called me that night. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. Dad! Her voice was raw. She'd been crying. Derek's going to prison. I know. Because of you. Because of his choices. He was desperate. He made mistakes. Does he really deserve prison? The jury thought so. They don't know him like we do. They don't know. She broke down, sobbing into the phone. I waited until she could speak again. I hate you, she said finally. I hate you so much. I know. You're not a father. You're a monster. A cruel, vindictive monster who destroyed his own son. Okay. Is that all you have to say? Okay? What do you want me to say, Ashley? That I'm sorry? I'm not. Derek planned to destroy me. He planned to have me declared incompetent and steal everything I'd worked for. He laughed while abandoning me at a gas station. He made his choices. Now he lives with the consequences. We're not your children anymore, are we? We're just enemies you had to defeat. You made yourselves my enemies. No, you turned us into enemies because you couldn't handle us setting boundaries. Boundaries? Is that what you're calling attempted fraud now? Boundaries? We just wanted what we deserved. You deserved nothing. I didn't owe you my house. I didn't owe you my money. I didn't owe you anything except the love and support I gave you for 30 years. And you repaid that by trying to steal from me. I hate you, she said again. I hope you die alone. I hope you spend the rest of your life knowing your own children hate you. I hope it destroys you. She hung up. I sat there holding the phone, listening to the dial tone. You okay? Linda asked. No, but I will be. That night, I dreamed about the gas station. But this time, when Derek drove away, I didn't walk. I just sat there at pump 17, watching them go, and felt nothing but relief. I woke up around 3 a.m. covered in sweat. Linda was awake too. Bad dream? Actually, no, good dream, I think. Yeah? Yeah. We lay there in the dark, holding hands. Do you think we'll ever have a relationship with them again? Linda asked. I don't know. Maybe. But not the relationship we had. If we ever rebuild anything, it'll be something different, something smaller, something with boundaries and consequences. Would that be enough? It would have to be. We fell back asleep. When I woke up in the morning, something felt different, lighter. The weight that had been crushing my chest for months had eased slightly. I went to the workshop and finished the rocking chair I'd started, sanded it smooth, applied the final coat of stain, let it dry in the sun. It was beautiful. My father would have been proud. I gave it to Linda. She cried when she saw it. It's perfect, she said. You're perfect. Even after all this, especially after all this. You could have left, could have decided this was too much drama, too much pain. But you stayed. You helped me, even when I was at my worst. Where else would I go? You're my family. So are they. They were. They could be again. But right now, it's just us. And that's okay. She was right. It was okay. Not perfect, not healed, but okay. And okay was enough to build on. Spring arrived slowly. The days got longer, the air warmed, life continued its relentless forward momentum, indifferent to personal suffering. I settled into a routine: work in the morning, workshop projects in the afternoon, quiet evenings with Linda, therapy once a week, no drinking to excess, no dwelling, just existing one day at a time. Greg promoted me to shop manager. "You've earned it," he said. "Plus, I need someone I trust running things when I'm not here." The promotion came with a raise, more responsibility, and a sense of purpose I'd been missing. I threw myself into the work, training new mechanics, streamlining processes, building something that would outlast me. Linda started a garden: tomatoes, peppers, herbs. She worked the soil with an intensity that told me she was processing her own trauma in her own way. We didn't talk about it. We just worked. One Thursday in April, Jennifer Solis called. "Thomas, I know you're not doing interviews anymore, but I wanted to let you know. I'm doing a follow-up piece. 6 months later, where are they now kind of thing." "I'm not interested. I'm not asking you to participate. I'm just giving you a heads up. The piece airs next week. I thought you should know." "Thanks. For what it's worth, I think you handled this with incredible grace." "Grace? I destroyed my own children." "You protected yourself from people who wanted to hurt you. That's not destruction. That's survival." After she hung up, I thought about what she'd said. Survival. Was that all this was? Just survival? The piece aired on a Tuesday. I didn't watch it, but Linda did. She gave me the summary afterward. "They interviewed Derek in prison. He's angry, bitter, blames you for everything." "Naturally." "Ashley's working at a restaurant, gave up on the influencer thing. She looks tired." "And Kyle?" "Still maintaining his innocence. Says Derek dragged him into it, the usual deflection." "So nothing's changed?" "No, they're still convinced they're the victims." "Maybe they are. Maybe we all are, victims of each other." Linda squeezed my hand. "Or maybe some people are just assholes." I laughed. Actually laughed. It felt good. May brought an unexpected visitor. Derek's public defender, a woman named Rita Vasquez, called and asked if she could meet me. I agreed, curious. She came to the house on a Saturday morning, mid-30s, professional, carrying a briefcase. "Mr. Patterson, thank you for seeing me. What can I do for you?" I wanted to talk about Derek, about his potential for parole. He hasn't even been in prison 6 months. I know, but he's eligible for early release in 12 months if he demonstrates rehabilitation. Part of that process involves family reconciliation. If you were willing to submit a statement supporting his parole, no. Mr. Patterson, he hasn't served his sentence. He hasn't shown genuine remorse. He's still blaming me for his situation. Why would I support his early release? Because he's your son. He stopped being my son when he planned to destroy me. Rita sighed. I understand you're angry. You have every right to be. But Derek is being eaten alive in there. He's not built for prison. The environment is destroying him. Good. Maybe it'll give him perspective. Or maybe it'll break him completely. Is that what you want? I thought about it. Really thought about it. Derek in a cell. Derek surrounded by criminals. Derek suffering every day. Did I want that? Yes. And no. The answer was complicated. What I want, I said slowly, is for Derek to understand what he did wrong. Not just that he got caught. That the plan itself was wrong. That hurting me was wrong. That I'm a person, not a resource. Until he understands that, until he can articulate it and mean it, I don't care where he serves his sentence. He's working on it. He's in therapy. He's attending programs. Because he wants out, not because he wants to change. There's a difference. Rita stood. If you change your mind, please let me know. Derek's future depends on people believing he's capable of rehabilitation. Then Derek should focus on actually rehabilitating. After she left, I sat on the porch and watched birds fight over the feeder. Linda joined me with coffee. "You could have given him a chance," she said. "He had chances, plural. He wasted them all." "So that's it? He serves his full sentence, and then what? He comes out and you still hate each other?" "I don't hate him. I just don't trust him. And trust can't be demanded. It has to be earned." "How does he earn it from prison?" "I don't know. That's his problem to solve, not mine." Linda was quiet for a while. "You're hard." "I have to be. Softness is what got me abandoned at a gas station. Softness is also what made you a good father for 30 years. And look where that got me." She didn't argue, just sat with me in the silence. June brought news that Kyle was trying to overturn his conviction. Some technicality about the audio recording, whether it was legally obtained. His lawyer was claiming entrapment, illegal surveillance, violation of privacy. Robert assured me it wouldn't work. "The recording was made in a public place by a private citizen. It's admissible." Kyle's grasping at straws. But the appeal process dragged on. More court dates, more legal fees, more stress. I tried not to let it consume me, focused on work, on Linda, on building a life that didn't revolve around this drama. Some days I succeeded, some days I failed. Ashley reached out through a mutual friend, asking if we could talk, asking if I'd be willing to hear her side. "What side?" I asked the friend. "The side where she participated in isolating me? The side where she helped plan my abandonment? Which side am I supposed to hear?" "She's changed, Thomas. She's sober now, working on herself. She wants to apologize." "She apologized before, at the fundraiser. Remember, right before she screamed at me." "This is different." "Is it?" The friend gave up. I felt bad about that, but not bad enough to open the door to more manipulation. July came hot and still. I spent most of my free time in the workshop, building furniture I didn't need. A bookshelf, a coffee table, a bench for the garden. Creating things felt like the opposite of destruction. It felt like healing. Linda's garden flourished. We ate salads from our own yard, fresh tomatoes still warm from the sun. It was peaceful, simple. Everything my life hadn't been for months. One evening we sat on the porch watching fireflies. "Do you miss them?" Linda asked. "Who?" "Derek and Ashley. Do you miss having them in your life?" "I miss who they were, who I thought they were. But those people might never have existed. Maybe I just projected who I wanted them to be onto who they actually were. That's sad. Everything about this is sad, but it's also real, and I'd rather live in sad reality than comfortable delusion." "When did you get so philosophical?" "Around the same time I got abandoned at a gas station." She laughed. We both laughed. It felt good to laugh about it, even darkly. August brought Derek's 6-month evaluation. I received a letter from the prison. He'd been a model prisoner, participated in programs, stayed out of trouble. The warden recommended early parole consideration. I threw the letter away. Linda retrieved it from the trash. "You should at least think about it." "Why?" "Because maybe he has changed. Maybe prison is doing what it's supposed to do. Or maybe he's just playing the game, being good so he gets out early. That's not change, that's strategy. You don't know that. I don't know that he's changed either, so I'm erring on the side of caution." We argued about it for days. Linda thought I was being cruel. I thought I was being realistic. Neither of us budged. Finally, I made a decision. I wrote Derek a letter. "Dear Derek, I received notification of your good behavior. I'm glad you're using your time productively. If you want my support for early parole, I need 3 things. 1, a detailed, honest accounting of what you planned and why. Not excuses, not blame, just truth. 2, an explanation of what you've learned about yourself and why your actions were wrong. 3, a realistic plan for how you'll rebuild your life without relying on me or your mother for financial support. If you can provide these things, I'll consider supporting your parole. If you can't, you serve your full sentence. The choice is yours. Dad. I mailed it before I could change my mind. 2 weeks later, I got a response. 20 pages, handwritten. Derek had actually done what I asked. I read it in my workshop, alone, taking my time. He explained the debt. The pressure from Kyle. The desperation that made him rationalize increasingly terrible decisions. He explained how he'd convinced himself I was the obstacle, that removing me from the equation was somehow justified. He explained how prison had forced him to confront what he'd become. The therapy. The other inmates who called him out on his bullshit. The long nights thinking about what he'd thrown away. He apologized, not for getting caught, for the pain he'd caused, for betraying the values I'd tried to teach him, for becoming someone he didn't recognize. He outlined his plan. Job training through prison programs. A roommate situation with another ex-con trying to rebuild. No contact with Kyle. Minimal contact with Ashley until she got her life together. Strict boundaries with me and Linda. Respect, distance, earned trust. It was thorough, honest, painful to read. Well, Linda asked when I finished. He did the work. Does that mean you'll support his parole? I'll think about it. I thought about it for days, weighed his words against his actions, tried to separate hope from gullibility. Finally, I wrote a letter to the parole board. Derek Patterson has demonstrated the kind of self-reflection and accountability I hope to see. While I cannot yet say our relationship is healed, I can say he has earned a chance at redemption. I support his early release with the understanding that his freedom comes with conditions. No unsupervised contact with me, required participation in therapy, and complete financial independence. If he violates these conditions, I will not advocate for him again. But for now, I believe in second chances, even for people who might not deserve them. Thomas Patterson. The parole board approved Derek's release. He'd be out in October. I didn't know how to feel about that. Relief, fear, hope. All of it mixed together into something unnameable. You did a good thing, Linda said, or a stupid thing. Time will tell. Either way, you did it from a place of hope. That's growth. Maybe she was right. Maybe I was healing after all, or maybe I was just setting myself up for more pain. But at least this time, I was choosing it consciously. That had to count for something. October arrived with cold rain and falling leaves. Derek was released on a gray Tuesday morning. I wasn't there. Neither was Linda. We'd agreed. He needed to do this on his own. He called me from a payphone outside the prison. I'm out. I heard. Thank you. For the letter. I know it wasn't easy. No, it wasn't. Silence on the line. Awkward, waited. I'm taking the bus to Denver. I've got a place lined up. A job interview tomorrow. I'm going to do this right. Good. Dad, can I see you? Eventually? Eventually. Not yet. You need to prove you can make it without me first. I understand. Derek, I meant what I said in the letter. One screw-up, one violation, and I'm done. Permanently. I know. I won't screw up. We'll see. He hung up. I sat there holding the phone, feeling nothing and everything. Linda came into the workshop. How'd it go? As well as could be expected. Are you okay? I don't know. Ask me in 6 months. The weeks passed. Derek called every Sunday, brief check-ins. He got the job, warehouse work, nothing glamorous, but honest. He paid his own rent, attended court-mandated therapy, followed every rule. I wanted to believe he'd changed, but part of me kept waiting for the other shoe to drop. Ashley reached out in November. A real apology this time, not performative. She'd gotten sober, was working on her mental health, had cut off contact with Kyle. She asked if we could meet for coffee. I said no. Not yet. Maybe someday. She accepted that. No screaming, no guilt-tripping, just acceptance. That was growth, too. By December, life had settled into something resembling normal. I still went to therapy, still had bad days, but they were outnumbered by good days. Linda and I celebrated our 30th anniversary. Quiet dinner at home, nothing fancy. But it felt earned. We'd survived something that destroyed most marriages. "I'm proud of us," she said over wine. "For what?" "For making it through. For not letting them destroy what we have. You did most of the work. We both did the work. We're a team." She was right. We were. Derek called on Christmas Eve. "Dad, I know I can't come home yet, but I wanted to say Merry Christmas and to tell you I'm still clean, still working, still trying." "That's good, Derek. I'm going to earn your trust back, however long it takes." "I hope you do." After I hung up, Linda asked if I believed him. "I want to." But trust takes time, and he's only been out 2 months. Ask me again next year." New Year's Eve came. Linda and I stood on the porch at midnight, watching fireworks in the distance. "What do you want from this year?" she asked. "Peace. Just peace." "That's reasonable." "And you?" "Same. And maybe, if we're lucky, the start of rebuilding with Derek." "Maybe." We kissed as the fireworks exploded. A new year, a fresh start, or at least a chance at one. January brought unexpected news. Kyle's appeal had been denied. He'd serve his full sentence. 5 years, no early release. I felt nothing. Kyle was a stranger who'd manipulated my son. His fate didn't concern me. February brought more surprises. Ashley got engaged. Not to Kyle. They'd broken up months ago. But to someone she'd met at an AA meeting. A teacher, quiet guy, nothing flashy. She called to tell me. "I know we're not in a good place, but I wanted you to know. I'm trying to build something real this time." "I'm glad." "Will you come to the wedding?" "I don't know. When is it?" "October. That gives us time. Time for me to prove I've changed." "Okay. Ask me again in September." "Fair enough." March arrived cold and bright. Derek had been out 6 months. He called with news. "Dad, I've been promoted at work. Shift supervisor, better pay." "That's great." "And I've saved enough to take a class. Business management. I'm thinking about the future." "Good. Can I see you? In person? I'm ready. I think you are too." I thought about it. 6 months of consistent behavior. No violations, no backsliding. Maybe he had changed. "Okay, but not at the house. Meet me at the auto shop on Saturday. Noon. I'll be there." Saturday came clear and cold. I arrived at the shop early, nervous. Greg was there, offered to stick around for support. I told him no. This was something I had to do alone. Derek pulled up at noon exactly. He looked different. Thinner, older, harder around the edges, but somehow more genuine. He got out of his car slowly, like he was approaching a wild animal that might bolt. "Dad." "Derek." We stood there awkwardly. 2 men who used to be family, now strangers trying to rebuild from rubble. "You look good," he said. "You look like prison." "Yeah, it changes you." "Did it change you for the better?" He thought about that. "I hope so. I'm not who I was, but I'm also not who I want to be yet. I'm working on it." That's honest. I'm trying to be honest. I lied to myself for so long, convinced myself that what I was doing was justified. I can't do that anymore. Can't lie. Not to you. Not to myself. We talked for an hour. About prison. About his plans. About what he'd learned. I listened more than I spoke, waiting for the false note, the excuse, the manipulation. It never came. "I'm not asking for forgiveness," Derek said finally. "I don't think I deserve that yet. Maybe ever. But I'm asking for a chance. To prove I can be someone you're not ashamed of." "I was never ashamed of you. I was hurt by you. There's a difference." "I know. And I'm sorry. Truly sorry. Not for getting caught. For what I did. For who I became." I looked at my son. This man who'd once been a gap-toothed kid building birdhouses with me. who'd betrayed me in the worst possible way, who was now genuinely trying to claw his way back to something resembling decent. "Okay," I said. "Okay? Okay. We start here. Slow, supervised. You keep doing what you're doing, staying clean, working, being honest, and we rebuild, carefully." Derek's eyes filled with tears. "Thank you. God, Dad, thank you." "Don't thank me yet. You've got years of work ahead of you to earn back even a fraction of what you destroyed." "I know. But you're giving me the chance. That's more than I deserve." "Probably. But Linda thinks I should. And I listen to her." "How is Mom?" "Better than me at forgiveness. She'll want to see you soon." "I'd like that." We stood there a moment longer, then Derek extended his hand. I took it. We shook. Formal, distant. But a start. After he left, I called Linda. "How'd it go?" she asked. "Better than expected. He's trying, really trying." "Are you going to let him back in?" "Eventually, slowly, with 1,000 conditions and zero trust. But yes, eventually." "I'm glad." "Me too, I think." That night, I dreamed about the gas station again. But this time, when Derek drove away, I didn't walk. I just sat there peacefully, knowing that this moment, this abandonment, was just a moment, not the end of the story. I woke up at dawn feeling lighter. The weight that had been crushing me for months had finally eased. It wasn't forgiveness, not yet, maybe not ever completely, but it was acceptance. Acceptance that people make terrible choices. Acceptance that family is complicated. Acceptance that healing is possible, even from the deepest wounds. I got up and went to the workshop. Started a new project. A small table with 2 chairs. Derek's apartment needed furniture. This seemed like a good place to start. As I worked, I thought about everything that had happened. The gas station, the hospital, the news, the trial, the months of anger and pain. I thought about Derek in prison, facing what he'd become. I thought about Ashley trying to rebuild her life. I thought about Linda standing by me when she could have easily left. I thought about myself, choosing revenge and then choosing something harder, choosing to stop. The table came together slowly. Careful joints, smooth sanding, quality work that would last. By afternoon, it was done. Simple but solid, functional but beautiful. I stepped back and looked at it. My first gift to Derek in years. A peace offering, a symbol, a new beginning. Linda found me there, standing in the workshop, looking at the table. "It's beautiful," she said. "It's a start. That's all we need. Just a start." She was right. I loaded the table into my truck. Tomorrow, I'd deliver it to Derek's apartment. We'd sit at it together, drink coffee, talk about normal things, work, weather, life. We'd avoid the past, focus on the present, build toward a future that might eventually include something resembling a relationship. It wouldn't be what we had before. That was gone, broken beyond repair. But maybe it would be something better, something earned instead of assumed, something built on honesty instead of obligation. I drove home through the fading light, Linda beside me, the table rattling in the truck bed. For the first time in months, I felt something like hope. Not forgiveness, not yet. But hope. And that was enough. The story ends here. No reflection 6 months later. No revelation that everything worked out fine. No tidy bow. Just a father who was betrayed, who chose revenge, who then chose something harder. To stop destroying and start rebuilding. Just a family broken apart, some pieces trying to come back together, others permanently scattered. Just the uncertain middle of a story that will take years to resolve, if it ever resolves at all. Just life. Messy, painful, complicated life. And somewhere in Colorado, at a lonely gas station, Pump 17 still stands, witness to where everything broke. Witness to where, in a strange way, everything began.